All right, so let's just quickly listen to Silk on and off.
It said, let's roll, turn up the radio, put it in drive and head out on the road. 1, 2, 3, push down the pedal, rocking to the sound through the speakers on the stereo. Turning, swerving, speeding down the road. The mixtape's rolling and we're staying up until we see the light.
All right, so I spent like no time coming up with this. I just quickly created that before I hit record, and already it's cleaned up that vocal quite a bit. So what is Waves Silk Vocal doing, and how easy is this thing to set up and use? That's what we're going to look at in this video. I'm Zane. Welcome to Audio Tech TV, where I know you can create great music at home. And when recording vocals at home, we often don't have the best rooms and scenarios, so we need to clean them up quite a bit. Even in the studio, you need to clean up vocals a little bit. So that's what Waves Silk is. It's not going to replace your entire vocal chain. Think of this more as a vocal prep tool. So it's prepping the vocal before it hits the vocal chain, but you might be able to take some of your plugins out of the chain, like maybe a de-esser and maybe even some of your EQ settings. Now let's just have a quick look at all the controls here. So you can see you can change from male to female, and you have your low section, mid section, and highs. The low and the high section are fixed, and you can see the frequencies down here in these little graphs, whereas the mid section, you can adjust however you need to. And you can also turn each of these sections off if you want. There's also solo buttons, so if you just wanted to hear what the low section was doing, you would just click on that, and same thing with the mids and the highs. So that's kind of our main Silk controls. This is where all of the main processing is going to happen. So basically what this does is it's breaking up your vocal into 1,000 different frequency bins, and then it's going to process those bins individually based on how you set up each of the frequency ranges, and it also depends on how the input is for that vocal. So it's kind of an interesting tool, and it works pretty well for what it does. Also in here, you can see we have a dynamic section, and that can be turned on or off. Then you can use this fader to adjust how much of the dynamics you want. Down here, so normally this looks like that. And then down here, you have a high pass filter. And an important thing to note about this high pass filter is it's not affected by the mix. So you could turn the mix all the way to 0 and you're still going to have that high pass filter on there. And the high pass filter is set to 60 Hertz. It's not adjustable. Now in here, you also have speed, which is going to control the attack and release speed of all of the processing that's happening here, not the dynamics processing over here, but just the Silk processing. And then precision is kind of like the Q. So if you go to more sharp, it's going to be more accurate, but it can introduce some artifacts in there. So you kind of want to watch for that. Maybe you'll like that artifact sound on certain vocals, but if you start turning it to smooth, it's going to kind of smooth out that cue and make things sound a little more natural. Makeup is like a makeup gain, an auto gain feature. You can turn that on and off if you want. You have a gate. So if you have a little bit of background rumble or things like that, you can start to enable that gate. And you can see it's already doing some dynamic reduction in there because of the gate. And we have our mix over here, which controls how much of this effect that we're going to apply to the signal. Down here, you have an output. So if you don't want to use the auto gain, you can use the main output here. And a cool thing is you can adjust the output and the dynamics at the same time with this little thing here. So you can see when I'm bringing the dynamics right down, it's also bringing the output down. We bring it up, brings that up. So that's kind of a cool feature. And another thing on here is we can adjust the high to be like a bell curve or like a shelf. And then you have this delta thing here, and that's going to show the difference of what you're applying with the Silk. And you can listen to it overall for all of your frequencies, or if you turn it on and you just solo one, you can hear what each individual frequency is doing. That's a basic rundown of all the controls in Silk. Now what I want to do is just quickly dial this thing in and see what we can come up with and how quick we can come up with it.
Ready, set, let's roll, turn up the radio, put it in drive and head out on the road. 1, 2, 3, push down the pedal, rocking to the sound through the speakers on the stereo. Turning, swerving, speeding down the road, the mixtape's rolling and we're staying up until we see the light. Ready, set, let's roll, burning down the road, radio's rocking and we're feeling alright. 1, 2, 3, come on, jump on in, let's take a late night spin tonight. Turning, swerving, speeding down the road, the mixtape's rolling and we're staying up until we see the light. Ready, set, let's roll, burning down the road, radio's rocking and we're feeling alright. 1, 2, 3, come on, jump on in, let's take a late night spin tonight. Turning, swerving, speeding down the road, the mixtape's rolling and we're staying up until we see the light. Ready, set, let's roll, burning down the road, radio's rocking and we're feeling alright. 1, 2, 3, come on, jump on in, let's take a late night spin tonight.
All right, so it didn't take me too long to dial this thing in, and that's not too bad right there. It's prepping my vocal before I start to hit it with my compressors and maybe some more EQ on there. It just cleans it right up. I won't need a de-esser, so the high band here kind of takes care of some de-essing. It has some built-in de-essing frequencies in there, and that's kind of what it's looking for. It's a really cool plugin. It's going to help you clean up your vocals quickly, and hopefully you grab this during the Black Friday weekend when you can get it for free. If you want even more free plugins, click on this bundle right here. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. For Audio Tech TV, I'm Zane. Keep creating. Fist bump. Thumbs up.